2, 1, action.
Welcome to the show. This is Bible Stories with Leighton. Leighton, what Bible story are we talking about today?
Samuel?
Samuel. It's a good one. So remember, his mom's name's Hannah, and she didn't have any kids. And so she prays and cries. Okay, go ahead.
She prays and cries, and then what?
She said that if she would have a child, that she would do what with it?
She would give it to Jesus.
Okay, so she said she would give it to God. And so then God remembers her, and she does have a child, and she names him Samuel. And when he was old enough...
Like the book.
Yeah.
First
Samuel and 2 Samuel. And so Samuel, once he's old enough, she takes him to the temple. And so she...
What's a temple?
The temple is where all the priests are.
I don't know what it... I want to see what it looks like.
Okay, we can look that up in a little bit.
Okay.
So she takes him to the temple, and she dedicates him, and he lives in the temple. And then there's a guy named Eli, who's the head priest, and he teaches him all kinds of different things. And so the cool story is he's sleeping, and then what happens?
Jesus says, "Wake up!" And then he goes
No, God says, Samuel.
And then, what's the person's name?
Eli. He goes up to Eli.
He goes up to Eli and he says, "I'm not talking to you. Go back in your bed and go to sleep."
So he goes back to sleep, and then what happens? What does God say?
Samuel. And then he says, "I'm here." And then he says, "I'm not talking to you. Go back to sleep."
Okay, and then God calls him a third time.
Samuel. And then he says, "I'm not talking to you. Go back to sleep."
Well, before he tells him go back to sleep, he says, "Oh, if I'm not calling you, then God's probably calling you."
Who said that? Samuel?
Eli did.
Eli?
And then Eli says, "Okay, next time he calls you, you say, 'Speak, your servant is listening.'" So then he goes back to sleep, and the fourth time, God says,
Samuel.
And Samuel wakes up and he goes, "Speak, your servant is listening."
I thought it was the teacher.
The teacher was calling him?
Uh-huh.
No, he keeps going to Eli. And Eli's like, "I'm not calling you. Go back to sleep."
You used to say the teacher.
Okay. And so we talked about when he says, "Speak, your servant is listening." And also when Hannah names Samuel, she said she named him Samuel because she listened, like God listened to her. What does Samuel mean again?
Samuel means like I'm listening.
Yes. Samuel means to listen to God. Shema El, Samuel. Shema means to listen and obey, and El is another word for God. So Samuel or Samuel means listen to God. If it's an
L for God, it should be log. Because it's an L.
No, it's Shemuel.
For L.
It's like L in Spanish. E-L. L. Like when we do Spanish and it's L-M-A. L. But it's just L. Samuel. Shema El. Listen and obey God. Pretty cool.
It's Ella.
So what's one fact about Samuel that you know that he anointed?
What's anointed mean?
Remember, you asked me that already. Remember, he anointed King Saul as king?
Jesus told him what to do, and then he first did, but then he didn't listen to him. So then
Samuel was told by God to tell King Saul that he's not going to be king anymore.
So he's not going to be king anymore.
And then someone greater than him is going to be king.
Which is King David.
Yeah, King David. The man after God's own
heart.
Yeah. Good job. Thank you for listening to Bible Stories with Leighton. Bye-bye.